إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So welcome to a new session, dear students. Today we'll be discussing about some useful tips for memorizing the Holy Qur'an. So before beginning, we'll learn few du'as which is for the knowledge. ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا اللهم انفعني بما علمتني وعلمني ما ينفعني وارزقني علما. So these were the 3 du'as. You all must write it in a piece of paper so that when you memorize or when you try to learn, you can recite the du'as before getting into your lesson. Now let's see some importance. Memorization of Qur'an is one of the biggest honors that a Muslim can have. Almighty says in Surah Al-Qamar, chapter number 54, verse number 17, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. And we have indeed made the Qur'an easy to understand and remember. Then is there anyone who will receive it? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in this regard, the best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever memorizes the Quran and practices on what is lawful and abstains from what is prohibited, Allah will enter him into Jannah and accept his intercession on behalf of 10 such relatives who have been destined to enter hell. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help everyone who is in quest of memorizing and understanding the Holy Quran. So before embarking on this noblest journey, we need to have purity in the intention and a firm resolution and believing the Quran is the word of Allah. So now let's see the tips and practical steps of memorizing. Prayers. Pray to Allah for granting success in this. An attempt of memorizing it isn't nothing but an effort to seek blessings of Allah. Familiarity. Obtain a particular mushaf, that is a Quran, to familiarize yourself with the images of Quran. The using of a single mushaf ensures that the memorization is assisted with pictorial memory. Atmosphere. Specify a place where all your intention is on Quran timings. Allocating a special time or different timings in the day for memorizing the Quran. The best time to memorize is after Fajr. Daily limit. Make a daily limit for some verses of the chapters, that is the surah of the Quran, that one wishes to memorize. Consistency in approach and take a new and revise the old lesson regularly. Find a partner who will help you with memorizing. Repetition. Keep on repeating your lesson, and once you move to the new lesson, make sure you recite the previous one along with your new lesson. The best way of memorizing Qur'an is by understanding the meaning of the word that are being memorized. Reciting in a melodic tone. During memorization, one should recite the Qur'an in a melodic tone, beautifying the recitation as much as possible, linking the verses as one completes memorizing a full surah. One should perfect it by connecting its verses together, both in the meaning and in the flow of his tongue easily through them. Recitation in prayer. Practice by reciting the memorized portion during daily prayer, whether it's a full surah or it's very few verses. Listening recitation. Keep on listening the same verse over and over again. It is quite natural that you will start memorizing it. Watching a session of the Qur'an. Various parts of the Qur'an resemble each other in meaning, wording, or repetition of the verses. The Qur'an consists of more than 6,000 verses. Of those, approximately 2,000 carry some sort of resemblance to others. The resemblance varies from total coincidence to a difference in one letter, a word or two or more. Follow a technique to memorize. When you start memorizing the Qur'an, you have to follow and plan according to a systematic way. Different people have different timing methods to memorize. You can start memorization process with small portion of a verse or one or two verses a day and move on to more verses. Read the verse you want to memorize at least 10 to 15 times. After you have read it by looking it on the paper or on the screen, now try to read it without looking. In this way, you will develop a technique to memorize Qur'an. Sometimes writing down the verses also help you in remembering it by heart. After you have memorized one verse, move on to the next and repeat the same method. At the end of the lesson, repeat the 3 verses together. You will have more verses to revise each day before you start with memorizing new words. So always make sure, even if you are memorizing new lesson, don't forget to revise the previous lesson. Another tip regarding the memorization is that start from the last Quranic chapter, which is the 30th juz, Amma juz. As surah at the end of the Quran are short and are commonly recited among Muslims. It gives greater support to remember the verses easily. It is both helpful and encouraging towards the learning process. So these were some of the tips. Hope all of these are informal and would help you all to memorize. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help everyone who is in the quest of memorizing and understanding the Holy Quran. So this was for today. For more information, do contact your teachers. They will help you inshallah. So let's end the class here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.